Hi everybody, here we are back again doing our block of the month. This is July. I can't believe the summer's going so fast. But here's what we have. So if you can see right here, these are our different color waves. This is for the brights. A and B on both of these, you can interchange them. So I just picked A and B, but you'll see once the block's done. There's for the purples, and this is for the Montague. So let's get started. So what we have on the A and the B, it has us cut four, I'm reading this upside down, 4 4¼ inch squares. So that's what these are. This is what the block's gonna look like when it's done. Beautiful, huh? Okay. So of the A and the B, we're gonna do the 4 4¼ and then 2 that are 3½ inch. The 3½, we're not going to cut those down. These we are going to cut down a little bit, so make sure they're really close. These need to be perfect. So the next thing we're going to do is find my cutter, which is right here. Okay, so after we cut these 4½ inch squares for the A and the B, we're going to cut them diagonally. So I'm just going to put my little ruler on here, and you're just going to go from corner to corner. And so they'll look like this. So I'll do that with all of mine. Now remember, when we cut those like that, then this is going to be where the bias is, and see how that's going to stretch. So you want to be careful with that. We don't like to sew with them that much on the bias because it can be stretched, but we're going to do it today and it's going to be fun. Okay, so the block we're going to do is, it's a square and a square. Oh wait, one more thing. On the C part, I didn't talk about that. So the C, we're going to cut 8 of the 3 3/4 inch squares. And so same thing with these. We're going to trim these down. Or we're not trimming them, we're going to cut them diagonally. So we'll do that with all of them. So when we get done, we'll have 16 of the little triangles, and 4 times 2 is 8. So then we'll have 8 of these, and then the 2 we're not going to touch. We're setting those aside for a minute. Okay, now I'm going to show you on the different.
What ruler is this?
Oh, this ruler, this is just my 6½ inch squared, but you can use any ruler to get going. Today we're going to use the Flying Geese ruler, and this is one that we've had before, but I'll show you how we're going to do that in just a minute. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I took one of my squares. I'll do it with this one. And then I took the C fabric, and you're going to put that on both ends. You don't need to fold it in half and find the exact middle, because we're going to trim that down. We're just going to look at it, and I'm going to sew like that, okay? But if you remember, this is the bias. Now when I'm sewing it, I'm going to put that where the feed dogs are. So I'm going to flip it over, and I'm just going to sew my 1/4 inch seam down that side, okay? And I like to do it so I do them all at one time. So I'll take my 4 squares that are the 3½ inch, I'll sew these to it all on one side, then flip it over and sew it on the other side, okay? So it's going to look like this when you get done. Don't worry that it's a different color. Okay, then I'm going to go to the ironing board, and I'm going to open them up, and I want to be able to press them. As you can see, I want to press away from the square. Now this is a step you want to do before you add the others. You want to make sure you do press these open when you've got those 2 sides on. All right, then what I'm going to do is take I'll just show you on this other square, is I added these next two on top just the exact same way. Okay, so you have these two ironed on that looks like this. Then I'm going to have these two that I put on and iron them. So what you've got here is a square and a square. So if you look at it, you've got a square and it's inside a square, and that's why they call it that. All right, now what I'm going to do is once I have all those done, I'm going to take my Flying Geese block ruler, and if you remember, this has a little indentation in there, so I can take and slide that up and it locks in. All right, now you'll look at that and say, look how that looks. Oh wait, how do I trim on here? Well, you're not. The only thing we're trimming is we want to get that 1/4 inch seam right there. So when we put it in, it's going to give us the 1/4 inch seam. Let me show you. So we'll take it and I'm just going to cut along that edge. There's my 1/4 inch. So now I turn it and I'm going to cut it there, turn it, cut it there, oh, try to cut it, and then I'm going to cut it right there. So when we get done, look how beautiful that is. All right, they have rulers that you can use for square and a square, but we already have this one that we did on another block when we made Flying Geese. So if you have that one, that works great just to do that with that ruler. If you need some, we've got some in the store here. Okay, once we get to that, we're going to have 4 squares that will look like this. Some will have the color A and B as the middle square, as you can see. So now this is where you get to make your own choice. It's kind of like choose your own adventure. So you can decide if you want to, can you get me that fabric that's over there by that machine? Sorry. You can decide if you want to put the same fabric right here to match the square. Thank you so much. Or if you want to do the opposite, like this. So you're going to have 2 squares of each kind. So let me just give you some options here that you can see. There's the square with the opposite. Here's the square with the same. Like that. Now you're going to make these squares exactly the same way as you did the little squares. So now what we have is a square and a square and a square. Cool, huh? So once you get those done, you're going to take your ruler again and you'll put that on there. And you're going to trim the whole thing around. Remember, the seams aren't sewn, but you're going to trim with this Flying Geese to make it. So the finished size is 6.5 inches. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like. But you can decide which way you want to do this part of it. Once you get those done, then you're just going to follow the diagram on the pattern. As you can see here, and it goes every other one. That's a little bit, there are 2 different colors of peach in there, but this is what it's going to look like when it's done, depending on how you finish that. And then you'll put the other one like this in this corner, the other one like this in that corner. When you stop by to pick up your blocks, I will have them all finished. I had to take my sewing machine in to get repaired, so I didn't get them all done. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking with it. So, okay, we will be here Friday from 3 to 6, and I'll just be sitting out in the parking lot drinking my Diet Coke. So just come by, show me, your finished block. I'll give you the new one, and then hopefully next month we'll be able to get together, even if it's a few of us at a time, to be able to get together to have the class. If not, we'll be doing the video again. If you have any questions, ask me on Friday. Hopefully you're all doing well and feeling healthy. So we'll see you Friday. Thanks.